Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous, and here is his story. Hey, Ollie, please keep me anonymous. You've had a slew of odd write-ins, and they seem to be taking your channel off topic. You know the effects of narcissism, but when the oddballs write in, it's like trying to nail Jello to the wall. Right. And like I was trying to explain in the walking video, it has everything to do with me shutting off my Facebook, because what the Facebook allowed people to do was play this game like they didn't understand the rules, and I would get these exact type of messages repeatedly sent to my messenger, and unless I was friend requested first. See, this is the thing about Facebook people didn't understand, and I wasn't putting it out there either. You know, if you don't friend request the person first, the messages all go to spam. Okay, so my Facebook was packed, just the spam folder packed. Now, that's not to say the slew of people that friend requested me, and then you would get this. So, like, when that avenue shut off, it was pretty much, and I got my backup about following the rules. It became very limited how to get your story to me and just throw it out there. And so it's forcing people to either ask for a sponsor or contribute $5 or $10, and then that's what's happening, which is like what I said was always a huge frustration, and will continue to be. You know, dealing with this stuff on the channel. What we have learned does not apply to their style of thinking. With that being said, I'd like to share an off-topic but difficult situation with you. First of all, thank you for your channel. I know for certain you've helped a lot of folks, myself included. I of course am sending with this contribution. You deserve to be paid for your time. Onto the topic. Only in narc world can you express a hurt that the narc has caused, give them money, and walk away feeling guilty for the rest of the day and even longer. And that is what just happened today. So I think I'm pretty clear on narcissism and its effects, but bouncing these stories off someone who knows the game is still important. I am no contact and extremely low contact with most, no, all of my family. Since detangling myself from that den of vipers, my life in all aspects has become functional, clear, and most times rewarding. As a matter of fact, I used to think I had a drinking problem, but when the narcs were gone, voila, that issue resolved itself as well. And most things seemed like big problems are no longer an issue. It's just life like I think most folks live now. The issue I have had is with my oldest son. Okay, I think we've talked about him in the past, if I'm not mistaken. And it's heartbreaking and the most difficult thing I can think to deal with. I have tried everything I know to remedy the situation and have had no luck or results. I will try to relay things as factual as I can, even though it's a negatively emotional situation. After I went no contact with his mother, I also gained primary custody of, I'm going to say, my youngest son, but my oldest son was already over the age of 18, so was emancipated from any rules of the family court. However, in the last couple of years, has continued to be in and out of treatment centers and jail. Extremely hard for a father to watch and deal with, especially since the behavior is what I tried to leave behind with his mother, who absolutely abused my life to no end, and at one point tried to murder me via poison for insurance money. Disrespect on her part doesn't even begin to cover it. And just so everybody knows, this anonymous I have been talking to for years, so I'm familiar with his story, and I remember what I told you then. You can't sacrifice your young. You at this point, your youngest son is the priority. Your oldest son, he's an adult, and with junkies like that, you can't force them into treatment. You can't force them to clean up. They are either going to hit rock bottom and say I had enough, or they're going to kill themselves or end up in prison for a long time. Those are the only three options. There's not enough money to get a junkie to quit. They gotta want to quit on their own. Before moving on to what has happened with him, let me say a few words about my youngest. He is nearly a straight A student, well liked in extracurricular activities with a wide range of interests, and excels in everything he does. Besides the usual teenage issues, the emotional climate in the house is relaxed and functional. I am lucky enough to have remarried a wonderful woman who he gets along with very well, so it is a far cry from what I am used to. I would like to take credit for the situation, but it was not truly all in my hands. They are both just really good people, and I have to say I enjoy our situation very much. But when it comes to my oldest, the nightmare won't stop. About a year and a half ago, he was in a state-run facility for drug addicts. It was a 6-month program, and it was only possible because I showed up at court and spoke directly with the judge. I made certain to hang around all day in the courtroom and spoke with the DA, the attorney, and the judge. No one else was there for him that day. He was looking at some more jail time or this program, and they agreed to send him to this facility. After the time was up, I got him an apartment and picked him up for his release. I set up the apartment, the electric, water, and got his phone turned on, furniture, etc., only to have him not follow the plan that he and I agreed to. Right. Listen, junkies will be planning. Look, they will be plotting. They will plot in rehab their day that they're getting released just so they can go get high. I have a friend, okay? I have a friend who was on heroin, and he was counting the days. He left rehab. I think he was in for like 2 or 3 months, this intensive rehab. And he had his dealer meet him in the airport so he could shoot up and get high again. You have to let them bottom out. You can't. And what you showing up there in court and fighting for him at that point told him is, I can still use him. He's still a sucker. He's still a sucker. Because I haven't changed shit yet. And here he is. Here he is. So in his mind, he's like, perfect. So all I got to do is act like what I'm doing in here is good. He'll set me up for whatever. I'll agree to anything. And then as soon as I get out, I'll be getting high again. Several weeks passed, and his then girlfriend said she had found drug paraphernalia around, and I confronted him about that. The apartment situation, as agreed, only lasted about 2 months. After that, I was on the hook. For all his expenses, and he was nowhere to be found. At the very end, several months into it, as things finally wound down, I had to give notice to the apartment and throw out some people he had let stay in the apartment. It went on way too long, and it cost way too much money. This was my last effort to help him. It was met with him smearing my name to people behind my back. Does it matter, though? I mean, he's a junkie who's been in and out of rehab and jail. Consider the source of the smear at this point. I understand. Look. It's a hard thing to say because I understand where you're coming from, you know? Like I said, yesterday was Erin's 16th birthday. And I broke and I called and just left a message. And you just rip the fucking wound right back open again, you know? You're vulnerable. It's your kid, you know? But he's not going to learn until he hits rock bottom. Did I mention at one point a drug dealer was looking for him and he disappeared? As as I did go in and out of the apartment for a time, I could have been mistaken for him and it could have been shot or worse. I only found this out later anyway. Since then, contact has been very sparse, really not much different than what's been going on for years. I had hope, but I am all out at this point. Recently, I have seen him. Although he does not seem to be in the same shape he was still does not seem on top of it. So he asked me for some money for a car. I instantly said yes, I would, and then I remembered the other times I had helped him, only to be met with drama, lies, gaslighting, and smearing my name to several people that told me about it. I don't know what I could have done that would have the slightest idea to talk shit about me behind my back. I was devastated. He's a junkie, man. He's a junkie. He just sees you as a mark. That's it. He sees you as a soft target. And we've talked about this. He got this from his mother. You know where he got it from. His mother, your mother, watching you get fucked over by your mother and your ex-wife, knowing what a nice guy you are, knowing how easy it is to get what you want out of you. He's just following the same tactic but for drugs. Between the last time he had the apartment and now, he has been over a few times. It has always been uncomfortable. He stays the night and then has me drop him off at the bus stop. He always carries his bag with him wherever he goes and never lets it out of his sight. I'm thinking that he keeps his dope in there, clearly. So Christmas comes. So Christmas he comes over, and when it's time to open presents, he demands that I take him to the bus stop. I'm like, right now? And fearing he will cause a scene, I oblige. I take him and return. It ruined our day, to say the least, but this kind of behavior is not out of the ordinary for him. He recently turned 24 years old in April, and he asked if I would buy a tablet for him. So we had lunch, and I took him to the store that had those, but he suddenly changed his mind in the store and said he didn't want one. I didn't and still don't understand what that was all about. He's trying to see what he can get out of you. He's a junkie. So about the car, he says he needs $1,000 to buy this car that he has, and and he has the other 1,000. The car was 2,000. I looked up the value of this car and it's over $5,000. So I'm asking him what's wrong with it, and he says nothing. I tell him to make sure he has his license, insurance, bill of sale, signed title, and the title transfer money, and I'd finish with him at the title office. But somehow none of these things materialize. But then suddenly he has his license and sends a pic of his insurance, but only wants $500. I don't understand why it dropped, but I think he's trying to scam me. Of course he is. Of course he is. He didn't want you to take him to the store for the tablet. He just wanted you to buy him a tablet and give it to him so he could probably go off and sell it. He doesn't really want to buy a car. He just wanted the $2,000, and then when it was $2,000, he just wanted 500 because he just wants to get high. You sure he even has a license at this point? I know, but when it's your kid, you don't want to think they are lying, and I have no proof that he is lying. It's all circumstantial at this point. But I wanted to give him another chance, another bit of help, because he says he's working, saving, etc. So anyway, I do meet up with him, but I expressed the last time I helped him was a negative experience for me. Trying to keep things factual and on myself rather than accuse him of anything, especially with no real proof. But things degenerated from there. As much as I tried to keep it on topic, the conversation got pulled off into, I'm weird. I don't know what I'm talking about. He's just doing the best he can, and he's just trying to get along with his dad. Then he gets real emotional and storms off that I'm not happy that he saved up for a car. Honestly, I thought I was doing the right thing. The only thing I wanted to relate was that it was negative for me the last time. That was not that long ago. Listen, you're trying to rationalize to somebody with a drug problem. You have to accept the reality you're dealing with a drug addict. They don't think rationally. They don't think rationally. They don't behave rationally. They lie. They scam. They take advantage of. If he left you with the apartment with junkies laying around there after 2 months after getting out, what would make you think he's cleaned up his act and that he hasn't? He just wants you to hand him things he can go off and sell or turn around for a profit. He doesn't want you in his life anyway. He just sees you just a soft target. And he learned from his mother and your mother how to do this to you. I feel like I had the right to express that to him, being my son or not. It's not fair to do nice things for people. If they are your kid, they deserve it. But to be repaid in him ghosting me for months at a time and shit-talking my name behind my back is too much. I guess all I really want out of this letter is not to feel guilty and anxious, but every single time I deal with him, I get in a really bad mood, anxious, upset, and my stomach turns. Every single time I feel like I'm being lied to, gaslit, etc. If he wasn't my kid, I'd go no contact, but he is my son and very, very hard to handle. How do we deal with the narcissist when it's our son or daughter? I don't know how. Anonymous. You let him bottom out. You have to realize he's just treating you the same way as your other abusers did. He doesn't care. You have to accept the reality that you're dealing with a drug addict who will lie and take advantage of you, who has been trained by 2 other uber narc borderlines, your ex-wife and your mother, who would sit there. I saw your mother. I saw how she gaslights you. Right to your face. It's the same deal. You're dealing with the same narcissist over and over and over again. And this time it's your son. And it's emotional because it's your kid. Okay? And the drugs just make it worse. You have to accept the reality of who he is. And we've talked about that, even for your younger son's benefit. So, it's a hard thing to do. Believe me. I ripped my own chest open yesterday, just making a phone call that I knew would go unanswered. And I get some fucking awful comment in in the last video that I forced my ex-wife to have an abortion in 1997 because, I don't know, maybe the phone call got somebody's attention and it wasn't anything bad. By the way, you're still not spelling my ex-wife's name right. Kerri. Make yourself vulnerable. We all do. And it's a tough sled when it's your kid. But we have to accept the reality of it. And you have to accept your son's not doing anything different to you than your mother and your ex-wife did. It's the same tactic. It's just your kid. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much, Anonymous, for your contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, or have a private video made, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.